Once, there was a glorious kingdom established among the heavens. From that kingdom came a crowned heir, tasked with seeking out the Genesis Pearl from the kingdom of darkness. The first crowned heir began her journey of seeking the pearl. But she was deceived, and the memory of her noble origins faded. She now believed that she was the queen of the kingdom of darkness. But take heart. A second crowned heir had already taken up the path where the first had stumbled. This is the story of your journey, of your tale to be told.
This is how it must be. Delve into destiny. Finally. I almost fell asleep waiting. As usual, my predictions are correct. You, yes you, come with me.
Are you some sort of door-to-door fortune teller? Sorry, but we're not really interested.
You're not from this world, are you? Does my ability to see through your secrets so easily not evoke any memories?
Oh, Paimon remembers! You're that astrologist!
That's right. It is I, astrologist Mona Magistus. This time, I would like you to come with me to Mondstadt to reclaim a box that belongs to my master. It was part of an agreement she made with a friend 50 years ago. But she isn't as spry as she used to be, so now it's up to me.
Not sure what getting some box back has to do with us. Why do you need us to come along?
Well, that's because I would also like to take on the guardian of the box. My master and her friend contended in the mystic arts all their lives without a clear victor. If I triumph here, then I will show myself to be superior to my master. Well, I want to prove the power and status of astrology, to be precise. Now, from my predictions, I know that my master's friend has left Mondstadt, leaving her successor as the current guardian of that box. Like me, that successor must also be one who has surpassed their teacher. I must not be careless. But I would prefer to assure my victory in this contest, and upon giving it some thought, you came to mind. The knowledge passed down to me from my master must be passed on in turn. If I were to bring my disciple to meet her, then the lead is already mine, no? And you are Mondstadt's great hero, my equal in status, so... Come on, you don't actually have to become my disciple. You just need to act the part. There's something in it for you as well, should you come with me to get that box. Once I meet that successor and have a chance to exchange knowledge with them, I should be able to read your fate more accurately. Then I will have answers for you, even regarding such distant and foggy matters as gods and kin.
That does seem much faster than searching the land country by country.
A wise decision. That said, I would like to pay a certain place a visit before we go. There is a small inn near Mount Tianheng that never sees a lot of business, even though its food is always great value for the money. The owner has always been good to me, so I'd like to say a farewell before I set off.
I guess I can keep living like this.
Well, it's no wonder that an inn set up here has no business.
Mona, you've come at just the right time. Did you see a jade ring while you made your way here?
A jade ring? Can't say I have.
Oh, that's not good. That ring was given to me by my mother, but while my back was turned, it was swallowed up by a slime.
That should be no trouble with Mona here. She's really good at astrology.
Absolutely not. Astrology is meant to be used to gain insight into reality and observe destiny itself. It's certainly not for such mundane affairs.
But didn't you say that the owner here's been good to you?
This is a matter of pride and one's state of mind. If an astrologist thinks that their arts can solve all problems, they will be forsaken by the starry ether. Their divinations will lose the power to guide and will not be able to pierce the fog of the unknown before them. Principles are principles.
Such a powerful ability, and you don't use it to earn a living? What a shame.
Well, I was going to put up 20,000 mora as compensation, if you were willing.
20,000? Oh, it's nothing. I was just thinking that the person who finds that ring must be lucky indeed to be able to earn 20,000 mora just like that. Yes, of course. Still, the owner's business has had it pretty hard. It must be a truly extraordinary ring to be worth spending this much mora to find. It wouldn't be right for us to leave like this, so let's help to search for it. There may be other means we can employ besides astrology.
Oh, Paimon knows where this is going.
I know. I'll leave this one to you. This is the first mission I'm giving you as your master.
Since it was swallowed up by a slime, maybe we can use elemental bait to lure all the nearby slimes to us. You remember the stuff we helped Master Diluc make? And Paimon actually kept a small amount. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Seems like you already have a plan.
Yep, we'll be back in a jiffy. The elemental bait's really strong. It will attract all the slimes in the area. Even if they're just slimes, they can be dangerous together, so we'd best prepare ourselves.
Bad either. I guess I can keep living.
This is your first mission, so don't mess it up. But if the going gets too tough for you, well, I shall lend a hand then.
It's fine.
Let's go, let's go. Ha, I'm here. You.
Shadows of Fate! Let me scry! Leave my space!
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Boing, boing,
As one with wind and cloud!
Shadows of Fate!
in having your drink. Yeah. Found it! This must be the ring! It's so pretty. I'm unsure it's worth a ton of... Paimon wasn't having any bad thoughts. Let's bring the ring back to Mr. Zhu.
Let me scry!
That's it! That's the one! I thought it was lost forever.
You actually found it. Not bad. Mr. Zhu, you must take care of such precious things a bit better. You might not be so fortunate next time.
You're absolutely right. How would I have faced my family if I had lost the 253rd ring my mother gave me? Let me explain. My family owns 3 jade mines, and in order to ensure that I would be able to find myself a good wife, my mother had many jade accessories made as heirlooms. I think there might be over 500 of them.
Then why would you feel the need to set up an inn here?
Well, inheriting the family business too early unavoidably made things boring. Thank you, all the same. Here's the Mora, as agreed. Please take it.
Then I'll take it gladly.
But we did all the work.
A disciple should act like one. How can they steal their master's thunder?
Exactly.
Well, you need to start practicing now. If my rival is as smart as I think they are, they will figure you out in a heartbeat.
What was that rumbling sound?
Oh, right. You mustn't have eaten in days. I'm very sorry. I forgot that you have no...
That didn't happen. Forget it. Well, I suddenly feel that you have indeed contributed to our good fortune. I say we spend this money on treating you to a fine meal. If we travel north, we'll reach the Wongshu Inn. I hear the food there is really good, so let's go try it out. No need to thank me. I'm just doing as a good master should.
Did she say she was treating us? Is Paimon hearing things? Let's go after her for good food!
This life isn't bad either.
Thank you all so much. You're welcome to drop by again. Well, if this inn hasn't closed its doors yet.
Written in the stars. Shadows of fate.
Shake your hands, stir! Look at you, Boozle!
Delved into destiny. We could do with some more fortune. Let me scry.
Time to go. Falling leaves, adorn my night. Wind strider.
Shadows of fate!
Can I go catch up on my sleep?
Can you stop, Carl?
Let me scry! Shadows of fate! Let me scry.
Time to go. One with nature. Time to go. Follow the wind. Yeah.
wanna come fish blasting with me? I'll get grounded for a whole day, but it's way worth it because the fish taste so good.
Luck is not on my side.
Fresh air.
Need to get something from A to B.
After peak season, nothing will sell.
Luck is not on my side.
After peak season, nothing will sell.
Since it's Mona's treat, we can order whatever we want, right?
Of course. I am a most generous master, after all. But only if you can finish it all. Wasting food simply will not do.
Excuse me, what would you like to order? Though tofu could not be a more ordinary ingredient, it and crab roe are truly a match made in heaven. It's one of our specialties. These are made using large, succulent shrimp wrapped in crispy fried potatoes. They have an amazing texture. It's exactly what it says on the label. Abalone made from vegetarian ingredients. It's just as good as the real thing. This is a favorite among our regulars. Bamboo shoots, meat, and ham are cooked together, creating a richly flavored soup. pour a few spoonfuls into each bowl of rice you eat, you'll never get enough of it.
All of them? We only have 3. No, 2.5 people? Isn't that too much food?
That's not how you count it. Besides, Paimon hasn't even ordered yet. Ahem. Squirrelfish, Juyu chili chicken, and jewelry soup, please.
Sure. And is there anything else you'd like to order, ma'am?
I'd just like to ask, how much do the current dishes cost in total?
Around 20,000 mora.
Then, I'll just have some vegetarian noodles, please.
All right. A bowl of vegetarian noodles, was it? Please wait a moment. We'll serve you shortly.
Paimon's been thinking about something since we started eating. Is it because she actually doesn't have money?
I heard that. I said I was treating. How could I be rattled by something as mundane as Mora? An astrologist's mind is set on studying the stars. Being so easily disturbed by such banal matters would hamper my judgment. Especially the act of overly gratifying oneself using Mora. It is both vulgar and dangerous.
So, not eating the dishes we ordered is also part of an astrologist's pride? Paimon doesn't get it. But it feels kind of bad that only we got to feast. Oh, yes, we can do that. Just give us a minute. You don't use more to fulfill your desires, so it's fine as long as you're not buying anything, right? Let's go borrow the kitchen from the innkeeper.
There's no need to spend all that effort on me. I'm not in dire need of food. I am a little hungry, but it's not a big deal.
Need to get something.
Hello, how may I help you?
We'd like to borrow the kitchen here.
Ah, I see. In that case, sure. As long as you've prepared your own ingredients, feel free to use the kitchen. If I may add one more thing, you must be quite well versed in the art of cooking, yes? Talented indeed. Actually, I have a small suggestion to make. From your clothes, you're most likely not from around these parts. But since you've come to Liyue, would you like to try making Liyue-style cuisine? I have a recipe for golden crab with me. It's a Yue cuisine classic. It's crab meat that's been rolled in flour, deep fried, and then pan-fried together with ginger and garlic. When you finally plate up, the crab seems to be lying on gold.
Golden crab. be a cinch.
Ugh, too salty. Ugh, too salty.
There's no need to spend all that effort on me. I'm not in dire need of food. I am a little hungry, but it's not a big deal. This aroma is... Wow, it's incredible. Fine. Since my disciple has put in so much time and effort, I must, with great difficulty, accept. This golden crab is too delicious. I have never eaten anything this good in my life. I never knew that my disciple was this skilled. As your master, I am most comforted. I see that it's no boast to call them Liyue's delicacies. I suppose it wasn't too much to spend all this mora on. It's nothing. Nothing at all. Now that we've eaten and drank our fill, we should be off. If we travel north from here, we should reach the Stone Gate, and from there we will be within the boundaries of Mondstadt. What deep mysteries shall we acquire knowledge of? I'm looking forward to it.
After peak season. And now my life's in the spotlight.
Delve into destiny.
Shake it, hamster! Yeah!
Windstrider! Time to go.
That was tiring, but we're finally in Mondstadt. The quest to plumb the wondrous depths of knowledge is indeed arduous.
Paimon's not tired.
That's because you float.
Well, it doesn't look like an astrologist is all that amazing either.
That's because you have too many unrealistic fantasies about astrology.
Are you also resting your feet here?
Who are you?
Oh, my brothers and I are all merchants. We just finished doing business in Liyue, and we're preparing to head back to Mondstadt. You look rather tired. The cart we hired will be coming in a while. What say you to coming along for the ride? Let's go then. We can make conversation along the way. The more the merrier.
There's no need. Now, shoo, get out of our way.
Huh? Miss, is there something wrong?
Cease your pretensions, bandit. Picking up people on the road who appear vulnerable, robbing them blind once they've gotten on the cart, and then taking them to some Archon-forsaken place. Is that your deal?
What are you saying? We came over here to make conversation, and this is how we're rewarded? With insults? If you don't want to get on, don't. Crazy girl.
Well then, shall I tell you now which objects you have on you that are stolen? If you have any quibbles, we can bring people to corroborate what I've said, and all will come to light. If I lose, I'll pay you 20,000 mora. But if I win, then you'll be eating prison rations in Liyue Harbor tonight. How about it? If you're real legitimate businessmen, there's nothing to fear, is there?
You pushed it too far, brat. I don't know how you found out, but as long as we get rid of you, no one will have to know.
Don't fret, it's just a few bandits. You said earlier that there was nothing amazing about astrologists? Well then, this is a good time to show you what your master can do.
I'll blow you away!
glue down.
Decided by destiny. Let me scribe. Boing, boing, boing. What did you think? Did that satisfy your expectations? Such things are elementary for an astrologist. Lies are worthless before astrology. Destiny and truth are written in the stars. Though it may take more time to garner the specifics, I can read the gist of a situation at a glance.
But you did hit some bumps in the road.
That's because Tivat's stars can only display the fates and truths of this world. Anything related to you becomes like a fog that even I cannot penetrate. That is why I must meet that successor. With our knowledge combined, I might be able to gain new insight into your fate. Whatever the case, you've got everything to gain from this trip. All right, I'm rested. Let's get this journey to Mondstadt over with.
If only we had a cart.
I thought you weren't tired. Shadows of fate. Written in the stars. Let me scry. Are you ready? Don't shame your master now. We're about to meet that successor. I guess. Wait, no. It won't do if you have no idea at all, even if you are a fake disciple. We have a rule that forbids us from teaching outsiders, but I suppose I could teach you. My astrology is based on hydromancy, and as the name suggests, I use the reflections in water bodies to observe the true starry sky. Allow me to demonstrate. Watch closely now. From the present station and movement of the stars, I see. So that successor is a young, female Knight of Favonius.
Doesn't that sound like Lisa?
We will meet her here presently. Well, that's all the information we need. It seems that even basic astrology can't be grasped in one go. Never mind, I'll explain in detail later. She's here.
Wow, it's you, Mr. Honorary Knight. And Paimon, too, you're back.
That's her, the successor to great knowledge.
Successor?
That's right. I am the astrologist who has plumbed the depths of the ocean of stars. Surely you have long calculated my arrival as well.
An ocean of stars? What's that? Does it have fish in it?
Fish? No, don't play dumb. Is this some kind of game?
I should be the one saying that. I didn't get what you said at all.
But my predictions can't be mistaken. Well, let's make sure. Your mother's name is Alice, isn't it?
That's right. Oh, so you're Mommy's friend. But she's gone very far away.
My readings told me as much. But before she left, she must have imparted her mystical arts to you, surely.
Mystical arts? I don't get it. Mommy only taught me to make Jumpy Dumpties. So Glee's mother is the friend and rival of Mona's teacher?
Yes. As well versed in astrology as she was, my master knew only astrology. Alice, on the other hand, was skilled in a great many other mystical fields.
Well, Glee's so young. So even if she'd heard this deep knowledge, she might not have understood.
Yes. It seems she has inherited the blood, but not the knowledge. What a miscalculation. There can be no contest like this. Ah, yes. So before Alice left, did she tell you about a 50-year agreement and about a certain box?
Oh, I know this one. So you're here for that box. I'll look. Wait here. Not this one. Or this one. No, it's not this one either. Ah, I remember now. I buried it together with my new treasure at Windrise. Wait for me. I'll be right back. Glee, don't just run off. Don't you need the things in your pack?
I'll help her pack these things back in. You go after her. Looking at how rash she is, I worry for the box. That box is really important to me. If anything were to happen to it, I wouldn't be able to report back to that old crone.
Time to go.
powers of fate.
Clouds high. The birds call. Time to go.
There's no mistake. Dendro's lines!
We can talk later. Let's take them out first.
Jumpy dumpy go! Boing boing boom! Boom! Yeah! Blazing delight! Yeah! Found it! It's this box.
Glad it wasn't damaged in the explosions.
Retrieval complete! Let's bring it back! Da-da-da! La-la-la! Jumpy dumpty go! back at last. The wait was exceedingly dull. I had intended to read a book to pass the time, but this one was just some ridiculous diary. Nothing of note in it at all. It dropped from Clee's backpack, so I thought it might contain some ancient knowledge, but... Never mind that. So, did you find the box?
We did. It's in perfect shape.
That's wonderful! Wait a moment. Why isn't it locked? And why is it empty?
Huh? Well, it's because I borrowed this box to store my treasures.
Borrowed?
But since you're here for the box, I took all my treasures out. That's why it's empty.
You used it to store your things? Then where are the original contents of the box? That's what I want.
Oh, you want the thing that used to be in the box? You should have said so.
You haven't broken it, have you?
No, it's not broken at all. It's the book in your hand.
What? So this book, this diary, is that Hag's... It's her diary from 50 years ago? The thing she wanted back after 50 years was the dark history of her youth? I'm finished. No wonder that old woman said I should not look at it no matter what, or she'd rip me to shreds.
Am I in trouble? It was you who said you wanted the box. You didn't say anything about the thing inside. I don't know anything. I'm leaving. Bye. Well, if you don't say anything, your master won't find out, will she?
Impossible. Astrology can see through all lies. You've seen it yourself. Oh, after having spent all my mora to come to Mondstadt, not only have I gained no knowledge, but now I can't return. How did it come to this?
That's so sad. Maybe you could forget everything in that book and then go back.
That's... too difficult. And even if I wanted to stay in Mondstadt, it would be... Yes. How can I maintain a proper astrologist's mentality if I stay with all these Philistines?
Well, then you'll just have to go back and face your master.
Stop talking about it. I guess I'll have to... I'll just have to stay in Mondstadt temporarily. Once that old crone's reached the end of her days, I'll be free. But what will I do about my astrology research? No, wait. I don't even have a place to stay.
About that, we can go ask Catherine at the Adventurers Guild. Let's see if she can help.
The Adventurers Guild? Ah, right. You can do commissions for them in exchange for... Well, you know what I mean, don't you? Oh, thanks. Never mind, it's nothing.
Traveler, please, over here. It has been a while since you joined the Adventurers Guild. Are your adventures going smoothly? Is that so? Apart from your own skills, reliable teammates are also indispensable when adventuring. Another person to count on is always good after all. But recruiting such dependable companions is no easy matter, is it?
Yep, and it's even harder to get a guide as good as Paimon.
Ah, yes. I do have some information that may be of help to you. Let me consult our records. Ah, there it is. There's been a certain blonde stranger who arrived in Mondstadt lately, dressed in most unusual clothes.
Blonde. Dresses all funny. It feels like Paimon's heard this one before. Wait! Do you mean... Does that stranger's face look anything like his?
Like the honorary knights? No, they couldn't look more different. This stranger is a very tall man, and even has an eye patch.
Seriously? How does this have anything to do with Kaya? Eye patches can't prove that you're related anyway.
That stranger declined the guild's invitation, so I can't say that I know anything about the relationship between him and Mr. Kaya. Nonetheless, you can look for him if you're interested. Perhaps he might accept your commission instead. After all, it is not uncommon for some adventurers to not want to be limited by the guild, but be happy to accept a fellow adventurer's requests. And should the stranger be a strong adventurer indeed, he would certainly be a big help on your journey. Please don't talk down on yourself like that. You are the honorary knight of the Knights of Favonius, after all. Your deeds are the stuff of song for all the bards in the city, even now. Well, as to further news about him, you may want to ask Mr. Lawrence. He stands guard at the city gate, so he may know something about that stranger. I wish you every success, adventurer. Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild. I see. I understand the situation. There is a magic laboratory in Mondstadt that has been sealed by some unknown person. Although we have a few specialists who could break the seal, they all have their own labs and aren't that interested in the matter. I believe that if the astrologist you mentioned can break the seal, the owner of that house wouldn't mind if she stayed there. All right. Then allow me to tell you where the house is.
Time to go.
The person who placed the seal is by no means simple. Breaking the seal by force is nigh on impossible. Interesting. I suppose it's worth using my astrology on. Let me see. I see. So if you first, and then you... All right, it's open.
Holy moly, that's amazing! Now we just need to go back to Catherine and you'll be able to stay here.
No need, no need. You have my utmost thanks.
You are?
Oh, I'm Goth, the owner of this house. I passed by the Adventurers Guild a while back and Catherine told me about the matter. I never thought this troublesome seal would be dispelled so quickly.
Does that mean I can stay here?
Of course, of course. The facilities inside were just being left there anyway. I would be glad to have someone make use of them. To express my thanks, I shall rent this building to you at the lowest possible price.
Rent? I didn't hear anything about rent, and I helped out too.
Yes, of course, I understand. I am most thankful to you for that. So rest assured that I will give you the best rates.
I mean,
Paimon thinks Mona's misunderstood something, but...
I guess I don't have any other choice. I'll rent this place.
Great! Then we are agreed. I will go prepare the documentation. Please wait here.
Thanks for your help. Also, well, I'm very sorry, but I won't be able to do what I agreed to help you with just yet. Without the necessary tools and without new knowledge, it will take me some time to see your destiny clearly. But I promise that I'll do a reading for you first thing once I'm ready. Thank you. Our traveling together was fate. And of the good kind, I'd say. I wish you both safe travels. As for me, I need to think of the future as well.
How is she gonna make a living if she doesn't use astrology to make money? Maybe we should come back and check on her once in a while. It would really be bad if she fainted from hunger in there.
Cut that racket out! I'm doing experiments here. Oh, it's you! I'm currently running some tests related to your situation. I should see some results soon, so please wait patiently. Don't worry about me fainting from hunger. In any case, I figured out a way to make some money.
Conquering demons is what I do. Damned will sooner die again than lay a hand on me.
Honorary knight. Is something the matter? A stranger with an eye patch. Let me think. Oh yeah, I remember seeing someone like that. A blonde stranger dressed in unusual garb. He was wandering all over Mondstadt at first, which I found rather suspicious, so I decided to keep an eye on him for a while. I lost him pretty quickly. Still, I didn't think that this was such a huge matter that we needed our outrider to pursue him by air. As long as Master Jean is here, there's nothing to fear from some suspicious, unusual-looking person.
That might be true, but if it were up to Jean, she'd take this way more seriously.
That is true. But on the other hand, knowing that Master Jean may overreact to the situation is all the more reason to not tell her, no? Anyways,
Oh yeah, he was at Wagner's smithy for a while before I tried tailing him. He might have said something to Wagner. You should go ask him. Maybe he has more news about our stranger.
No wonder you're a master.
When you're high up, everyone can hear your voice.
What? You need something? Yeah, I remember him. He showed up a few days ago asking to buy a bunch of forging materials. Can't say I've heard of any of the materials he mentioned, though. He then had a look at the weapons in my shop before leaving. I've heard that he can be found drinking at the Angel's Share. If the Knights or the Guild want to get hold of him, that's the only place to be.
The Angel's Share? Well, Master Diluc probably has his eye on that stranger too then. Anyway, let's go to the Angel's Share and have a look.
What will it be? Grape juice or apple cider?
Hey, Charles! Have you seen a blonde stranger who wears an eye patch around here by any chance?
That I have. He comes here every night. Just to drink, though. Doesn't order anything else. He even sometimes mixes his own drinks after he orders them. I don't know anything else about him, but from his selections and mixes, I'd say that he's quite the connoisseur.
And what's Master Diluc's opinion?
Why, I just gave it to you. Quite the connoisseur.
Investigating everything as always. Guess that's Diluc for you.
If you're looking for that gentleman, he ordered some new bottle of wine in advance yesterday, so he should be here today too. There's too many raucous patrons on the first floor, so if you want to wait, best to go to the second. Ah, welcome, sir. The wine that you previously ordered is here.
He's really here? Let's go downstairs and have a look. No intention of paying us any mind, huh?
A traveler, you say? Why are you traveling? Well, that's as good a reason as any. Sit down over there, then.
So, guess we've broken the ice. What a weird guy.
That little one beside you.
That's not true, and you know it.
It's indeed a good thing to have someone accompany you on your travels. My name's Dainsleif. I suppose you have some business with me? Sure.
And he was so cold just a moment before. Paimon's got a bad feeling about this.
But I will require advance payment. 500 mora and 3 answered questions. The 500 is a one-time fee, and we'll settle the questions in a moment. That's it.
Well, now Paimon's got a really bad feeling. That kind of compensation can't be right.
Ah, thank you. Now, as for my questions, I'd like you to answer them here and now. The answer to a question says nothing about right and wrong, only about differences in attitude. I only wish to know what your choices are. You need only answer. Question 1. The crisis Mondstadt faced was resolved by an alliance between yourself and that Animo Archon who calls himself Venti. Who, in your view, was the key to ending that crisis? I know everything that I should. Well, answer the question. Is that your answer? I see. Question number 2. Rex Lapis, who has defended Liyue Harbor for millennia on end, used his gnosis to lay down a contract to end all contracts, of which the stipulations are still unknown. Who do you think will defend Liyue Harbor in the future, now that they've lost their deity? So that's your answer? I see. Now for my final question. This world has people who gained visions and those who did not. Which of the two do you think hold more importance in the eyes of the gods? So, this is your answer then? I understand. It seems that you're different from her. I'll take that 500 mora. And now I also understand your views on this world. As we agreed, you may now commission me. That said, I only take commissions related to the Abyss Order. Like you, I am currently on a journey. You intend to find your sibling, while I wish to oppose the Abyss. Ugh. Those creatures that serve the Abyss are the fangs and claws by which the Order spreads chaos in this world. I have come to Mondstadt this time while on the trail of an Abyss Herald.
An Abyss Herald?
An even more twisted abyssal being, one that commands the Abyss Mages.
Oh, that's right! We've just been fighting against the Fatui and Liyue, who are human too! We haven't encountered the non-human Abyss Order at all!
There's some reason behind that, I'm afraid. It's possible that they may have been under orders to avoid your path.
Oh, that does sound pretty dangerous. Maybe they're looking for a better time to ambush us or something. We're super duper strong!
That manner, it's just like hers. Well then, let's go see for ourselves, shall we? According to the leads I have on hand, the Abyss Order has re-infiltrated the Temple of the Falcon. Let's meet up at the temple. Perhaps your questions about the Abyss will be answered there. This abandoned temple does bear some The Falcon of the West. Though it can soar in the wind, it ultimately does naught but hover under the light of the gods. Oh, it's nothing. Let's head inside. The scent of the abyss is getting stronger. It's not far now.
Paimon wonders what the Abyss Heralds look like. Do they look something like the Abyss Mages?
Let's head further in first. If we do see that creature, that'll spare me the explanation either way.
Wind Strider!
As one with wind and cloud, Wind Strider! focused, the wind knows me. Clouds high, the birds call.
I'm a rock.
Just a few abyss mages? Seems like that herald might have already left. The abyss. It is chaos, and it is also destruction. It is a morass of inconceivable madness that encroaches upon this world's very foundations. That is why even the Dragon of the East, a servant of a deity, was unable to resist its corrosive powers. And the creatures of the abyss desire nothing less than the overthrow of a world ruled by the Archons.
You seem to know a lot about the abyss, Dane.
Well, we do have some history. I suppose that's as far as chit-chat goes. We should head to Wolvendom. Judging by the traces I'm following, their next appearance may be within the territory of that old wolf. Perhaps we may find our Abyss Herald there. Lord of Wolvendom, great Wolf King of the North. Sharp of fang and keen of claw, and yet dwelling here only. No, nor does it know me. I only know these things because a previous traveling companion of mine once wanted to hear its story. All right, let's go see if that Abyss Herald has stopped by here.
But where do we begin? Are you standing here because of these strange bonfires, Dane?
Indeed. See that? Floating above the flames? It's an abyssal spell. Knowing what I do of the Order's habits, they've probably left similar marks behind elsewhere. Let's have a look nearby. So, their reach extends here too. Let's have a closer look. Reach extends here too. Let's have a closer look.
Do you think that those monsters by the bonfire are under the Abyss Order's control? Looks kinda scary. Let's beat them up first.
As one with wind and cloud.
Useless!
Clouds high. The birds call.
Pew pew! Think you can bully me? That's it! Let's go check out that bonfire. Looks like this bonfire's also got something to do with the abyss.
Time to go.
And there's another one of those bonfire spells. Looks like the abyss really has been around here. Yikes! Where did these monsters pop out from? Let's clear them out, and quick! Look at you, Boomtail!
Fallen leaves. Adorn my nut.
Have you finished searching? Have you finished searching? I searched around these parts and found some signs myself, but they were left behind by abyss mages, and there was no deeper abyssal power to them. It seems that even an abyss herald would not wish to make trouble with the Wolf King of the North. We should leave as well. If there's anything praiseworthy about that old wolf, it's his territorial nature.
But now we're out of leads. Are we going to have to give up?
No. There is one more place we can go. Let's get a move on then. I'll wait for you at Storm Terror's lair. I've heard about what happened to you during Mondstadt's crisis. When you came, this place was known as Storm Terror's lair. But I suppose that this place is more lair than Storm Terror at this point. In fact, if my memory serves, this ruin has had largely nothing to do with that dragon for a long time. The first time I laid eyes upon the ruins of Old Mondstadt, the Dragon of the East had yet to fall, much less come to nest in this place.
Huh? But Paimon remembers that Dvalin first got in trouble hundreds of years ago.
Don't think too much about it. Do you remember the light actuators that once sealed this ruin? If the Abyss Order is interested in this location, then they will not neglect those mechanisms. Let's go see what the situation is at those light actuators.
Look! There are lots of monsters gathered over there.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Diana special! Boing, boing, boom! Let's go, let's go! Think you can bully me?
Time to go.
Got me that time. Oh, I smell wine. Keep my eyes open. Jumpy Dumpty go! La la la. Oh, so in the end, we still couldn't find that Abyss Herald. Bummer.
I wouldn't call not having to gaze upon such a creature a shame exactly. Still, I do believe that you will come across one eventually.
No, you're right. If it's a really powerful monster, it would be best to go around it.
How good it would be if all perils one encounters in their journeys could simply be solved by going around them. Once upon a time, yes. I simply have experience from adventuring together with that traveling companion.
You know, Dane, you keep talking about that person this and that person that. Where are they now, anyway?
She no longer travels. I'm afraid that traveling can be too exhausting at times.
Oh, is that how it is? Well, why are you traveling alone then?
I still have some things left unfinished. Once they are done, I too will return home to rest.
Yep, and it's good to have a home to come back to, isn't it? We camp out a lot when we travel. Hey, once you find your sibling, we should find a place to stay too, shouldn't we? Mondstadt's Fisherman's Toast is pretty tasty, but Liyue's one-man restaurant is great too. Either way, we should settle down in a place where there's good food.
Home. Well, it won't be too late to think about where you stay once your journey reaches its end. While you're still traveling, you should...
Huh? What's familiar?
A familiar feeling, you say? It could be someone you know well, or perhaps a monster. Whichever it is, we should see it for ourselves, and thus see clearly. We can reach the top of that cliff from over there. Let's go.
Whoa, Dane moves really fast, doesn't he? Let's use that wind current nearby to catch up.
Who says there aren't benefits to a life of wandering?
Can you still sense that familiar feeling that you spoke of earlier?
But it doesn't feel like there's anything around here. No monsters, no people, nothing.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything strange about this place. It doesn't look any different from the last time I was here. My traveling companion brought me here on our previous journey.
So, Dane, what about you? What's your favorite place?
Me? I no longer remember. I merely followed my traveling companion around on that journey. That's all there was to it. Huh? A ruin guard's footprint. A ruin guard was wandering around here? No peace to be found, even for a single dandelion.
What's gotten into you? You were just spacing out. Huh? You mean your sister? But how could that be? You only touched that dandelion for a second.
Perhaps that dandelion bears some sort of scent that only you recognize. As for why, has it perhaps experienced something related to you?
You're saying some real confusing stuff. Paimon doesn't get it at all.
Do not rush. Vexation and anxiety are the enemy of rational thought. Your journey has only just begun, has it not? At least you now know that she is still on this world. At this time, the most important thing is the journey to find her itself. Yes, and this is something you must keep in mind as the meaning behind your journey. May you find your kin at the end of that journey. Well then, let us part ways here for now.
Huh? You're leaving? Already?
Only for now. Don't worry, we will meet again. After all, I did take 500 mora and those 3 answers you gave me.
There are leaves around. And I know